allow this much excavation to occur without permits. Such excavation can cause instability of substrate and water drainage, could greatly impact her neighbors.
Page kept coming out.
I'm just looking for the reference
and I would
photo.
see things like she was jackhammering into something and it would break really well, and then she got to a layer where it wouldn't break very well, and she's like, oh, it's harder. But it wasn't. You could see the impact of it. It just wasn't as brittle as the other rocks. And so somebody told her to drill and use this mining foam, right? So she's doing that. She has it put any scoring on it. She has no idea what kind of rock she's doing this to. It could go forever. The lack of just basic material science of the difference between if something is hard as in like abrasive hardness or brittle or whether it's going to break or not, she doesn't know any of it.
I don't think she was reported back in November and then she stopped mining in November. She's been making updates since then. If it was reported back then, maybe she just ignored it until someone else came forward. I don't know. It sounds like she didn't really take it seriously, or that she didn't actually stop the time until now. Obviously it's all come out that she's been given a mandatory work stop or notice. Aura Bagato, who on TikTok says that she is an investigative reporter writing a book about migrant children. She did a few videos, okay, about Kala. This one is back from November 30th.
I assumed, like, if I figure out who she is, then that's gonna let me better understand why she's building this tunnel. And my conclusion is what I started with, which is that she wants to and she can't.
Now, this is the video that came out in response to people being like, don't her neighbors know anything?
Do you think her neighbors are blind?
No, they're not blind, but they didn't know. They had no idea. Several weeks ago, after I noticed that Kayla had posted a video of one of her neighbors without his consent, and that she had made really clear that her neighbors had no idea what was going on, I decided to try and figure out who those neighbors were. So I found out where she lived, and I noticed that almost all of her neighbors are Central American migrants or first-gen immigrants. I began contacting them. Most of them are Spanish language speakers, and not one knew about this tunnel project. Really worried about their health and their safety. They talked to me about noise, like tremendous noise, essentially noise pollution, and shaking, like just random shaking in the ground that they didn't realize where it was coming from. And several neighbors expressed to me that they were worried about reporting anything because they don't want to get entangled with immigration authorities, and they don't want to be deported. The power dynamics between Kayla and her neighbors are wildly imbalanced.
I think there is potentially a risk that her neighbors may think that for the same reason they haven't reported her, of like, I don't want to potentially have my immigration status called into question by making an official report or having my name brought into this or anything like that, is that they may think it's better for them to claim that they haven't known anything, that they haven't noticed anything. Because there have been instances of Kayla saying that she rented a giant dumpster. She can only have it for so many days. She can only get rid of so much rock in the time that she's doing it. So there's certain things that if this is the type of neighborhood that Aura is describing, of like the cul-de-sac style of neighborhood, and then there's more houses around it. So when she says suburban, I'm assuming suburbia. I'm assuming this like so many homes in this couple hundred acres, couple dozen acres, whatever, you know, I'm assuming it's something like that. Like it's a tract home is what I would assume, but not exactly a tract home. A certain amount of noise, a certain amount of movement, a certain amount of trucks, I don't think you can ignore that. At least the dumpster being there for a certain amount of days, that's something that you're going to notice. I believe she said in one video that she could only have the dumpster for 2 weeks or something, a month or something like that is like legally what she was allowed to have for some reason. I think you could know that your neighbor is doing construction or a remodel, and you might not know to what extent it is. I think that's the most likely option, because some people are like, how could they not know? Are they not paying attention? Like, there's been that leap made, or they're just lying, they're being haters, things like that, which is, again, the internet's being so weird about this. This is not someone building like a little roller coaster in their backyard for funsies. This isn't someone like building an F1 car in their backyard. You know, this is someone doing shenanigans to the structural integrity of their home, and it could impact their neighbors. That's not let people do what they want. I get you want tunnel content. Flippin' Go out to an acre. Okay, go buy an acre. Go do something else. Go remote. Go make yourself a little homestead and dig a tunnel out there. Okay, because this is ridiculous. So in the comment section of this video as well, someone said, at least with the eel pit guy, like his house came with the basement cellar grotto thing, if I remember correctly. And then Aura replied and said, not too familiar with him, but my understanding is that he's using an existing cistern as an underground pond, question mark. Basically, that's eel pit guy. He had a cistern that was already built into the foundation of the house that he just plugged up essentially and then filled with water and made an eel pit. It already existed in the home. It wasn't him digging one out. He converted it, technically. It's technically a remodel, I think, but he didn't make something new.
Okay, let's talk about what happens when you play DIY structural engineer and you build something and the city doesn't know about it. You're being
For a short time, buy one unlimited Cox mobile line and get a second line free for life when you sign up for Cox Internet. Your second mobile line is on us, free for life. This offer won't last long. Sign up today.
sneaky, and when your neighbors tells on you or the city drives by and they just find out. So now they say, okay, stop what you're doing, come through permitting, come on over, and then you have to go through these meetings because now they're also a little mad at you now because you didn't go through the right steps. So they might make you jump through extra hoops. It's just, I don't know, this is just the way the government works. So they're gonna say, where are your plans and where's the stamp on those plans? And you're gonna say, I don't have one. Let's say you have a sketch. Let's say you did. You kind of like wrote it down, and then you call me and you're like, hey, I need to go through permitting. The slab's already poured. My columns are already set in this. I already have the base plates and everything. Can you just stamp these plans, place them for review, and I'll see what I can do. I can't sign off on it. You didn't put enough reinforcement. The footing isn't big enough for what you need on that column. Now you're screwed. I'm going to say sorry. Unless you add XYZ reinforcement, and I'll stamp it.
At this point in time, Kala is still shut down, and honestly, based on what I've been seeing from some people who either work in code enforcement or are engineers or they work in engineering or what have you, have basically said, like, yeah, with everything that needs to be done
Not
for
really.
this to be up to code, it's not like she's going to get approved. So I think she's pretty much needs to unplug all the mining equipment for the foreseeable future, and that there will be no more tunnel content. Mainly I wanted to make this because I was getting DMs from friends being like, did you hear about this tunnel lady? Yes, but I've not liked a lot of the rhetoric that I've been seeing, mainly in the comment sections, but I don't know why I'm choosing to read anything into the comment sections. I don't know why I'm looking for critical thinking skills in a place on an app where there clearly isn't any, okay? I stopped reading my comment sections a while ago. Same thing with, like, the shorts feed comment section. Just
I colored
obtuse is the
his
only
lips like a darker
phrase
pink.
I can really ascribe
Just
to
my cat.
either
Get the
of
fuck
these
out of me.
sections. I get it in our current day, individualism is like the most important thing, okay? Do what you want, it's your property. I only need to worry about me because the world is on fire. There's no ethical consumption under capitalism and all this stuff, okay? I get. However, this is not just affecting Kala, okay? This is not just affecting her house. This could be detrimental to her immediate neighbors at the very least. This could be
Push the
detrimental
fuck in my
to
bed.
her life, which even that, if anything happened to her, that's too much loss of life for a
Okay.
suburban mining operation so that you can have TikTok content. That is too much. One person is too much. From negligence, from doing a dangerous activity, okay, from suburban mining. There was a gas leak at one point. There was a water leak, there's been fires in enclosed spaces. She is welding in places where she has, in her own words, a tinderbox because she has support.
He scratches the hell out of my bed and then think he's gonna stay in here? No, get the fuck out.
With only a phone, a camera, to be her backup, to be her spotter, to make sure there's no random sparks flying. That's really going to be it. There's no update. By the time this comes up, maybe there will be an update. Maybe we'll know more from Kala. At this point, the last video that she has posted was about the stopping of her suburban mine. It is the end of the year. This is around the time when a lot of YouTubers do like here's what's happened in the last year. But she did that around the same anniversary of the start of her mining operation, so I don't know if she'll do another one. Were you following Tunnel Girl? Have you been following the tunnel system? Did you report Kala? Let me know. Comment down below. Reminder of a podcast, the Swell Shenanigans Podcast. Reminder that Swell Entertainment is now available on Spotify. Reminder that I am now streaming on Twitch. Reminder I have merch. Shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much for supporting me on Patreon. If you'd also support me on Patreon, link is down below. Like to follow me on social media. Love you all up here, and that's gonna be a have a day. Goodbye. there's one thing that the pandemic taught me, okay, out of everything, it's that I can't teach someone to have empathy for someone who isn't themselves if they don't already have it.
Dira, Amy, Andrew, Angel, Aslan, Kevin, Corey, Donnie, Elliot, Grace, Goth, Jasmine, Kenny, Lauren, Literal, Madeline, Mae West, Medic, Micah, Michael, Nathan.
So I hope at the very least none of you think that this is okay in any capacity.
That's it. That's my intro.
I'm Amanda, you're watching Small Entertainment, and today we are talking about what I consider to be a very
Should've never
serious
grabbed out the
topic
blue.
and not something that I take lightly whatsoever. I am very passionate about the safety of being online, whether you are a child creator, a teenage creator, an adult creator, someone who creates content alone and travels the way I do, whether you are someone who creates content with your spouse, in your home, on the road, whatever. I am very passionate about the safety of creators, okay? And doing this job in a way that is safe. And so when someone actively makes a choice that puts the safety of someone in danger in their own home, that is something I am vehemently against. It doesn't matter what your motivations for doing that are, you have now crossed a line. And it's next to impossible to walk back from that line. That was one way to launch into this, but I don't feel there's another way to start this off without just stating the obvious up front. So unbeknownst to me, I guess a few of you had been wanting me to talk about this topic, the feud between Sniper Wolf, SS Sniper Wolf, and Jack's Films on YouTube as it pertains to reaction content, freebooting content.
The
as
lighting
Jack
for
has been
most of the
calling it, or
pictures.
Sniper Wolf being a freebooter. I was not aware that some of you had been
He
waiting for me to talk
kinda-
about this. When I posted
His
about
hair kinda looks
how
black.
Sniper Wolf had crossed the line, you guys were like, oh, I was wondering when you were going to talk about this whole situation. So I haven't talked about it because I frankly didn't even realize it was flipping happening. This content sphere is massive, and I just have not seen that this was currently the feud going on. I knew that there was a bunch of, reinvigoration of the talk of people getting mad at reaction creators, though I agree, reaction content is not my favorite type of content. I am someone who also has people react to my content, specifically streamers, and as long as they at the very least link me or credit me to some degree when they react to my videos, or they re-upload the videos of them reacting to my stuff, that's really the best I can hope for. For example, streamer QT Cinderella reacted to my video reviewing her event, the Streamer Awards. So she streamed herself reacting to my video and talking about it, and then posted that video as well to one of her YouTube channels, I believe. Do I have a problem with that? No, because she said, shout out Soul Entertainment, or like credit to Soul Entertainment, or something like that in her comment section.
Oh, this is
But also it's like,
maybe
even
they
if
used to
she hadn't
blue.
done that, is there anything to be gained from me going after Cutie Cinderella? Not particularly, okay? And it's not even like it's a matter of being gained. It's like, is this a battle I really want to get involved in? And it's not even so much that I think that you linking me is going to lead to people going and watching that video. No, but I think it's just the nice thing to do at the very least. Oh, you want me to credit everyone when I do a compilation of me reacting? Yeah, credit them. Hell, here's a tweet of all the videos I reacted to with all the links. There's enough space in the description box for you to slam everyone's, link, okay? You can do it. Now, I feel like people are going to go back and forth. It's like, well, Amanda, you do commentary content. Commentary, in my understanding, is a completely different ballpark than reaction content, because typically with commentary, I'm using the actual thing I'm using in the commentary to supplement whatever I am talking about. I might be reacting to the content, I might be explaining it, but it typically falls under fair use. Not that reaction content does not fall under fair use, but a lot of reaction content has become incredibly lazy because it is very easy to make. I do think there is difficulty you genuinely responding and reacting in, say, music, movies, shows, TikToks, what have you, versus being like, oh my gosh, so they said this. Anyways, next video. I think there's a difference, and if that makes me a bitch, then so be it. Jack's Films has been talking about SS Sniper Wolf for a while. SS Sniper Wolf was a gamer, still is a gamer to my understanding, who has become very prevalent in the reaction video sphere. Jack has been making a lot of videos about Sniper Wolf, essentially talking about Sniper Wolf and freebooting content, as well as talking about other freebooting people that are on YouTube now and TikTok, including Jason Derulo. I missed that. That man was paying so much money at one point for one TikTok. Like, he was making literal mini films. Dude, you were cool for a minute. Like, and that's saying something. As far as I can tell, Jack's Films has been making bunches of videos on Sniper Wolf and freebooting and reaction content and all this stuff. Basically trying to get Sniper Wolf as well as other creators to credit the people they're reacting to and showing all different ways of them, in some instances, clipping channels and stealing jokes, using their face cams to block out the actual screen names on TikToks and things like that. Someone on Twitter, I believe, explained that the way that Jax Films has been making these videos is to kind of do a sort of commentary on how these reaction channels just turn out content,
Alright, I'm done.
content about these reaction channels in
Oh
that
shit.
same regard. I was at Not Scary
Why did no one tell me?
the other night when I see a tweet from Cabos popped up on my For You page on Twitter as I was standing in line to get on Ghost Rider, which ended up tweaking my neck. On Twitter, Cabos posted, SS Sniper Wolf posted this to her 5 million followers on Instagram. Wasn't censored before. This is the outside of Jax Films' house. What an absolute psycho. YouTube have to take major action. And it is a screenshot of the video that was posted outside of Jax Films' house that has since been blurred out to hide more of the house because apparently nothing was hidden of the house, and it's from like the middle of the street. Now obviously the video has been deleted and I'm glad that it's not
I'm done.
circulating as far as I can tell. I have no
Bye.